Hello, my dear students. I'm glad to see you again here today. It's our fourth lesson of foreign language, and here, as foreign language, we teach English, and this is B1 level. So, the theme of the lesson, Tales of the Unexpected. Yeah? So, my dear students, here in this slide, I have presented you aim of the lesson to develop language, communicative and discursive competences, critical thinking and creativity, to enlarge vocabulary related to the topic tales and stories, to improve speaking and writing skills. So, my dear students, objectives of the lesson: to identify definitions of the terms a tale and a story, to study key features of a tale and story, to define the differences between tales and stories, to consider types of tales and stories, to explain the use of narrative tenses. So, what is a story? Story is a description of events. What happened, usually with characters, people or animals in a story, place or time, where and when it happens, beginning, middle, end. Examples: a story about your holiday, a story about a funny situation, a story in a book or film. So, what is a tale? Tale is a special kind of a story, usually traditional, very old, from many years ago, often told by speaking, not only written. Sometimes has magic or fantasy, often has a moral lesson about life. So, tales have moral lesson. It means that they are not just story, they are the story which teach its listener some kind of a lesson. For example, the listener may be a child, and the tale may aim to teach about positive characters which a particular child must have in the future. To be polite, to be a good person, to help for older ones, to be friendly. Such kind of characteristics may be taught by tale. So examples are Cinderella and Aladdin. So story versus tale. Both are about events, but story, general word, can be real or not real, can be modern or traditional. In the case of tale, they are more traditional, often with magic or fantasy, often for children. As I have said, they teach children a particular positive characters or about particular negative characteristics which they have to not have in the future. So, parts of a story tale. Most stories and tales have characters: a princess, a king, a boy, a dragon, setting, where, when, in a forest, in a castle, long ago. Plot, what happens, problem, action, solution. Moral message, sometimes be kind, don't lie, work hard. In the case of tales, they have moral lesson. They have lesson. They will teach, they teach children, its listener, to be a good person. So here we have given you about types of stories. The first one, real life stories. It's true stories. Short stories, short, usually in one lesson or one chapter. Novels, long stories in a book with many pages. Funny stories to make people smile or laugh. So, types of tales. The first one, fairy tales. Magic fairies, witches, kings, queens, Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty. Then folk tales, traditional stories from a country or a culture, often explain people's values and beliefs. Fables, very short tales, often animals speak, have a moral at the end, the tortoise and the hare. So, when do we use past simple? This slide's title is so. It means that here I will begin to explain you today's grammar theme. Today we will consider past tenses, and you have to keep in mind that not just past tenses can give information about the actions which happened in the past, but also present perfect can give information about the action which happened in the past. But mainly they pay attention to the result of the action, not to the time. And here in the past simple tense, in one of the past tenses, we pay attention to the time. And the main difference between past simple and present perfect is that in past simple we have time, when particular action was done. Yeah. So as when we use past simple, finished actions in the past. I visited my grandparents yesterday. Here yesterday. It was done yesterday. Yeah. It means that yesterday is a time when particular thing had happened. Yeah. Then actions that happened one after another. Yeah. One after another. Yeah. Actions that happened one after another. I woke up, had breakfast, and went to work. Yeah. It means that they happened one after another. So they have a sequence. They happened one after another. Past actions with a finished time word. Yeah. Last week, yesterday, in 2020, 2 days ago. Yeah. So past simple positive sentences. So here, students, you have to pay attention to the forms of the sentences. Why? Because you need to be able to form a positive sentence, a negative sentence, and a question sentence in past simple tense. So the form of the positive sentence in past simple tense, as you know, the first we need subject, then we need verb in a past form. Yeah. The second form of a verb, if it's irregular verb, yeah, you have to take that form of the verb from the list of irregular verbs, as in the case of write, wrote, swim, swam. If it's regular, you have to just add ed or d, yeah, as in the case visit, visited, play, played, yeah. So next one, negative sentences. How do we do negative sentence? How do we make negative sentences in past simple tense? We need subject, we need did not, yeah. Then we need the first form of a verb, yeah. Infinitive without to. So I didn't visit my friend yesterday. It means he didn't visit his friend yesterday, yeah. So question, we need did, we need subject, and we need infinitive without to. Did I work here yesterday? Did she write you a letter on Monday? Special question. In special questions, the word of a special question, WH, when, where, what, goes before did. Time expressions with past simple, like yesterday, last night, last week, last year, 2 days ago, a week ago, 3 years ago, in 2010, in May, this morning, if the morning is finished, yeah. Examples, we arrived 2 days ago, she finished school in 2020, I went to Turkestan last summer. So when do we use past continuous? The next tense of past tenses is past continuous. First one, actions in progress at a specific time in the past. Yeah. Example, at 8 o'clock last night, I was watching TV. Longer actions in the past. Yeah. Background. He was studying English yesterday afternoon. Background actions interrupted by a shorter action. I was walking to school when I met my friend. So, how do we make positive sentence form of past simple tense? We need subject, we need the to be verb in the past. It means was and were. We need verb with ing. I was working at 9 o'clock yesterday. We were discussing about that when he interrupted us. Yeah. Then, how do we form negative sentence form in past continuous? Yeah. Subject, was not, were not, verb plus ing. I wasn't writing a letter when she came into my room. He wasn't sleeping at 9 o'clock yesterday. Yeah. Questions. Was, were, goes in the beginning position of the sentence. Then we have subject. Then we have verb plus ing. Were you watching TV when he knocked at the door? Yeah. WH. Special questions. The special questions words like who, when, what, where goes before was, were, then we need subject, then verb plus ing. What was you doing at 9 o'clock yesterday? Time expressions with past continuous. Yeah? At 8 o'clock, at this time yesterday, yesterday at noon, at midnight, all day yesterday, all evening, while, when. Examples, at 7 o'clock yesterday we were eating dinner. They were studying English all afternoon. She was listening to music while I was reading a book. So, the next tense of past tenses is past perfect. When we use it, yeah? An action that happened before another action in the past. When I arrived, she had already left. Yeah? To show which action was first and which was second in the past. They had finished dinner before the guests come. Often use it with past simple. Past perfect earlier, past simple later, past. Yeah? So, positive sentences. How we make positive sentence in past perfect? We need subject, we need had, we need verb 3. I had finished my homework before I went out. She had left when I arrived. So negative sentences, subject, hadn't, verb 3. I hadn't finished my homework when my friend called. She hadn't seen that film before. So questions, had, subject, verb 3. Had you finished your work before 8 o'clock? Time expressions with past perfect, before, after, by the time, already, just, never. By the time we arrived, they had already started the meeting. She had never visited a 5-star hotel before that day. So here are quotations, yeah, related with our today's lesson, yeah. There is no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside you. Stories are a communal currency of humanity. So, questions of today's lesson, students, you may press pause button and try to answer to these questions, relying on your knowledge which you have taken from this video lesson, which you have learned from this video lesson. So, here, students, we have given you reading task, yeah. So pay attention to its instruction. Press a pause button if you need, and do this task. So students, here is another task, a research project. You may press pause button and pay attention to the instruction of this research project and do it. Yeah. So students, let's conclude our today's lesson. First, definitions of terms. A tale and a story were identified. Key features of a tale and a story were studied. The differences between tales and stories were defined. Types of tales and stories were considered. The use of narrative tenses was explained. So my dear students, here I have given you the list of references. You can find out more about our today's lesson from this list of references. And it's time to say goodbye. See you soon, my dear students. Goodbye.